All right, so what we're seeing now is Naomi Osaka is basically facing backlash because she decided to have a party for black tennis players, and I don't see nothing wrong with it because there's parties for white tennis players. Like it's one of the things where it's like, okay, so what racism has, I don't even want to say what racism has. Yeah, we're going to use what racism has. Racism has something called deniable plausibility, to where, as we've seen, there's a like Chud the Builder, he was overt. So him being overt, it kills the deniable plausibility of racism, and it kills the whole thing of like, let's say you got a job and you got fired. They fire all the black people first, and they're doing mass layoffs, and they fire all the black people first. Whatever, they throw 4 white people in there, maybe somebody Spanish in there. But if I were to all the black people first, and people that have had jobs when this has happened have noticed this, and if they ever see this, they'll be like, yeah, that has happened many times. I've seen it, and I've actually been a part of that. So with a deniable plausibility part will come in, we'll be like, well, we got all the customer representatives, and then you look at the customer representatives is usually black, primarily black. So yeah, we got all rid of them over there. We got rid of that because we didn't need that because now we got AI going in, whatever. So when there is racism in the workplace, that's usually the type of stuff that happens. So when it comes to racism and denial plausibility, it's like okay, like with Naomi Osaka, she's having the all black party basically for black tennis players and stuff. So tennis players that have parties where they only invite white people, but they don't put the title on it. Oh, we just didn't invite Naomi Osaka or Serena Williams. We didn't invite them because we're not close to them. We invited only close friends. It'll be stuff like that, so that make it deniable plausibility. So then, if she say, "Well, I only invited close friends," because her circle of literally black and Asians, but she said people of color. She made that very clear, people of color. So she actually so I'm gonna read the post and then I'm gonna read the statement that was actually said about this said situation. So this is the picture where she said, the Black Party RG edition. Side note, first time ever co-hosting a dinner and party, and let me tell you, there's no better company to share time with, which is the black tennis players that she is showing. So when it comes to them, they're alienated. It's one of them things that is so obvious to see, and they try to act like it's not happening. Like I said, deniable plausibility. Like they'll try to be like, "Oh no, that's not whatever happened." I'm like, "Yes, it is, dog. Like, come on, we got to keep it real." So this is what she said. She said, growing up, there weren't a lot of tennis players that she could look up to that looked like me. Being a minority in a sport like tennis is very isolating. But the positive is that you keep tabs on everyone that, being blunt, is black. She said there's a fellowship and a camaraderie that does not need words to describe. She said you just feel at peace knowing that there's another person who has experienced similar things to you and you feel less alone. She said there's a saying, when you win, I feel like I win too. And that's how black people, we always feel. Once one win, I feel like we all win. He said, and while that's true, I also feel like seeing any of us exist in this space that is so clearly not for us is a win itself. And that's the thing about it, like she said, about the whole thing of when it comes to these spaces, they're like, oh well, if you don't want to, this is the thing. That's what I wanted to say. So how you see her saying about being in spaces that's not for us and that. So the response to that, where they say, well, if you don't feel comfortable, then leave, and then we go leave, and then y'all complain about us doing our own thing. So this Naomi Osaka situation is that, literally, they'll tell you, leave. You don't have to be here. I'm be like, okay, we're leaving. We don't have to be here. We're going to do our own thing. That's wrong. What? We want to have the power to shut you out. You can't have your own table. We want you to try to set our ours, and we're gonna keep moving your chair away. That's the problem with the whole racism and bigotry thing. That's it right there, because it's like we always say, like we've seen the racist rhetoric where they'll be like, well, if black people were so intelligent, they would have built their own civilizations, cities, and all that. Yes, we have. There's over 40 plus black cities that were literally bombed and burned down by our own U.S. military, that were flooded out. All these man-made lakes, Lake Norman, Lake Lanier, and many more lakes. There are black towns under it that were flooded. They tried to literally flood New Orleans. Literally, that was one of them things. They came out with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 documentaries about it, proving that it was intentionally flooded. So they'll be like, oh, well, where's proof of this? And then you go back and bring proof of this. Well, okay, who cares? Or actually, it wouldn't be who cares. It'd just be a no response. Or you guys always crying. You always want to be the victims. Like, yeah. So like that's like the bullshit reverse psychology of it, where they try to say, oh, you guys always want to be the victim of something. And it's like, yeah. It's like nobody wants to have the victim mentality of like, man, oh man. It's like, stop doing things. It's like how you want us to feel for Ukraine being victims of Russia, and then we would be like, man, stop being victims. Stop acting like victims. Get more bombs. Fight back. It'd be stuff like that. Like we see now that where they're saying, oh, the white man is under attack. Stop crying. Stop being victims. If the white man is so much under attack and they're a dying species and they can't do this and be the leaders that they're supposed to, stop crying. Stop being victims. Like, if that's the case, so it's like everybody has their own issues of what's going on as in regards to race, sex, who you are. Because then you're going to see short people complain about being short, man. All these tall people, everybody has a problem with something. So then when you do something to fix it, and then it's destroyed, it's like, this is a good example. It's like when you see the people that are vertically challenged, people that are short people, and they've been doing things to get their legs broken and fixed so they can be taller. Makes everybody clowning them like, you really ain't got your legs broken for that? You really whatever? And then, yeah, we get picked on, shot down. Like, really? That just happened? Like, yeah. And that's how we kind of see it. It's like, okay, there's a problem. We try to fix the problem. We do it on our own. And then people come and tear you down every single time. So this is what's happening with Naomi Osaka. And when Naomi, I can't say her name. When Naomi Osaka, I said Osaka. Naomi Osaka. Yes, where she sees like she's not invited to the places. She's tolerated in certain spaces due to the color of her skin. It's very obvious. Same thing with Serena Williams and Venus Williams. Same thing with everyone. Coco Gauff. With all of them, where they're being quote unquote tolerated in these spaces. And they're like, okay, well, we need to make our own space. And then when you make their own space, they complain. So basically, what she said, they said when Naomi Osaka, why she chose to host the party for the black tennis players. And she said, I'm seeing a little bit of, why can't you love everyone for their skin tones? And what if someone had an all-white party? She said, first of all, I do love everyone for who they are, no matter the race, ethnicity. She said, I'm literally half Japanese. She said, I can only speak from my experiences in my own life, though. She said, growing up as a tennis player, she said, I didn't see many people that look like me, and I feel it's important to celebrate them. And that is the thing. Just like how, like we saw with the Jackson Dart situation of how he wanted to openly support Trump. Okay, why she can't openly celebrate people of color? It's not Burger King. Yeah, y'all can't just have it y'all way. Like, and she's telling you from her personal experience, like, hey, you guys making me feel this way that we're really not included. We're only tolerated. Like, what's up? So I'm making my own space so where I feel comfortable in. So she says, secondly, I feel like it's important to note that there has been all white dinner parties. She's like, I don't know how else to tell you this. And she kept it a bean. I don't know who else to tell you this. She said, I've literally seen them all the time and never had an issue with it at all. She said, to the people who asked the question, I want you to ask this question too. What is it about people of color getting together that unsettles you so much? And that is a question. What is it about the color of our skin that unsettles you so much? Like, it'd be funny. Like, how are you mad about, like, the hero complex of how are you mad at us about black on black crime? If black on black crime was actually real, why would you be mad about us doing things to each other if it doesn't affect you? Well, you guys still out of this, and you guys still out of this. With that opioid epidemic, what? I actually was in prison around the time the opioid epidemic was happening, at the full thing of it. We were getting in, I remember, because we get the numbers scholar working in the draft thing. So draft is basically like intake. And you basically know the numbers and whatever. And it was like in 2014, they like, we can't believe how many white boys are coming in from robbing houses. Like a lot of them were getting burglary in the second, burglary in the third. A lot of them were coming in. Like it was a point for 3 months straight. Every day the bus would drop off at least 70% Caucasians, white people. So we see that and like what's going on out here. So when they talk about this, oh, you guys steal, you guys do it. I'm like, y'all actually commit crime at a bigger rate than us. So then they go per capita. Well, why is this? Why are black people 50%? They're only 13% of the population, and then they create 50% of the crime, the murders, and this, that, and the third. And it's like, then why do black people make up well over 50% of the exonerations? And then you bring up the whole arrest thing, and it's like, yes, we make up half of the exonerations and charges dropped from those arrests. Just arrested for nothing, just held for nothing, and then the charges are dropped. Like, nope, they always tend to just forget that second part. Always. Gotta make up 50% of the crime and more than half of the exonerations. We got, like, it's like one of them things, like, can't sit here and play stupid. Like, they just come around us up. Literally. Just coming around us up. Like, we literally have a thing of, like, it's a thing where it's called driving while black. So that's why we kind of a little happy about the window tint laws, because you can't see what's in there. But then it also gives us away because black people most likely have some window tint because white people be driving fishbowl. So she's saying like, hey, this is what's happening in space. And it's very clearly like, the crazy part is the Europeans, like, they're the ones that like overtly show that the whole sport of tennis is just racist. It's crazy. And for the younger people that's watching this, we saw the I Show Speed European tour. And that was so racist. It was terrible. Throwing bananas, making monkey sounds, all of this blackface, all this different type of just like, it's like, what? It seems like jealousy at this point. Racism is straight jealousy. What's the problem? They'll bring up, well, black people held black people enslaved too. So did we enslave y'all? Did we enslave y'all? Like, why would you bring up what we did to each other to justify you being racist to us? Like, what that got to do with anything? That had nothing to do with it. It was so hollow argument. So I always look at this and be like how racism to me is like is a low IQ sport. Racism to me is just low IQ. Like, why? Like, what are you doing? I felt superior than you. I'm like, dude, you are 5'6". 109 pounds soaking wet, and you're online telling me you can't wait to enslave me. And I'm like, I'm over here well over, I done kicked my camera, well over here, goddamn, about 6'2", 260. Bradley, like with Bradley Martin. I'm 6 feet, 250, bro. Whatever he be saying. So it's like one of them things is like, what is your need as people to try to dominate another people? What is that? That's what I want to know. That's a question I have for people that are racist. What is your need to want to dominate people? Where is that? Where does that come from? Like, what is that? It's actually disgusting. Like, why? What is your need? What does that do? Why do you want to be like, you know what? We're better than these people. We're gonna take these people over. Why? For what? But yeah, Naomi Osaka is not wrong. Plain and simple. And I'm not even saying that just because I'm black. It's just like, it's not wrong. She said, y'all be having all white dinners. And she clearly said it. I've seen y'all do it, and y'all continuously do it. So I can have my black dinner. Oh well, so what is the problem? I always say this, right? We're native to this land. Oh, you're dark skinned. You can't be a Native American. Yes, we are. And we know what tribe we're from. Yes, I'm from Blackfoot. So I think there's also a big discretion when it comes to that too, when they be like, oh, you guys ain't native. The only natives is those light-skinned people that y'all see that be calling themselves Indian. No, we native to the land, especially from the Carolinas too. Especially from there. Carolinas, Florida, Georgia, all of that. Native to this land. So y'all be like, oh, well, if you don't like the country, leave. What? We've been here longer than you. We've seen y'all come over here on boats. So what's the problem? Act right. It's really act right. What is that? And then, you get the hollow text. We're going to do something to you. We don't... Shut up. Cut it out. Cut it out. Stop posturing for that war. We have the Second Amendment too. Stop. And then since we're such violent criminals, why would you want to get into a war with people that are considered so violent? If we're so violent and we're killers and we're all of this and all we do is shoot each other and all that, so if we do that, what do you think What happened to you? I've been training shooting targets in my backyard. It's totally different when you get in the game. To where we grew up in cities to where every weekend we had to dodge gunshots. Harsh life of the ghetto, literally. And there's a lot of black people that can actually get and attest to this. When they see this clip in the comments or whatever, they some of us really had to dodge shots every single weekend. Cause we clubbing and this, that, and that, we know what it's like. Like, it's funny because we see the survival instincts of a potato, like we just saw with the whole Donald Trump thing when they did, with the president, the White House thing, where somebody let off 30 shots. And nobody, like, and then when we saw the whole attempted Trump assassination, whatever, where nobody didn't move, I'm like, y'all couldn't hear that gunshot first? Didn't know what to do when Charlie Kirk got hit. They just sitting there looking. It's like, how y'all think y'all gonna prepare for a war? I keep talking this, like, stop. Everything's okay. Just stop. I'm like, damn, like, it's idiotic. Like, damn, why? So, like, okay, now I gotta ask this question. I pose this question. After you get rid of the Mexicans, after you kill off all the blacks, what's next? It'll be the Dark Ages again. Because those rich people are going to rule you. Those rich people that told you you need to go to war with those minorities are going to rule you. And then what's going to happen is, after you get rid of those rich people, there's going to be somebody else in power. And then y'all going to be like, hey, we got to get rid of them because they're oppressing us or they're not treating us good. The snake eats the tail when it comes to this. We need that to make sense to everyone. When it comes to racism, bigotry, and this whole thing, the snake eats the tail. Because after you get rid of blacks, after you get rid of the Mexicans, after you get rid of Indians, the Africans, after where you just have just your white land, the snake eats the tail. Oh, what about the UK? What about Europe? Look how they're living. They're eating potatoes, man. They're eating like they're in World War One, not even two. With high rates of child pedophilia and all this, like, look how they're living. It's terrible. And then you would say, okay, well, like, y'all try to tell it Russia bad and Russia this, that. Okay, that's considered what you would say, white land. We can't go over there. They're bad people, this, that. And it's like, yeah, we can, we got the internet too. So it's like, man, what are we doing this for? That'll be easy, man. Catch you on the next one.